In the evolutionary arms race between predator and prey, mammals have mostly gotten the short end of the stick when it comes to body armor. There are, of course, a few exceptions to this rule, like a couple of different groups of mammals have spines or quills, like porcupines, hedgehogs, and tenrecs. And then you've got your pangolins with their keratin scales, which, like quills and spines, are made of the same material as hair and fingernails. But these defenses are really only surface level. If you want more heavy-duty body armor, you need to get bones involved. And that makes these super healing spiny mice super weird mammals. If you want to support the show, the Bizarre Beast Pin Club is open for subscriptions again from today through December 11th. Sign up now and the first pin you get will be one of these bizarre beasts. Spiny mice and their closest relatives belong to 4 different genera of rodents in the subfamily Diomyini. Sometimes they're called spiny mice, and sometimes each genus gets its own common name. So for the sake of simplicity, we're just going to call them all spiny mice here. Spiny mice are found throughout Africa, in some parts of the Middle East and into Pakistan, and on a couple of Mediterranean islands, including Cyprus and Crete. Though they might be extinct on Cyprus, no one's entirely sure. They mostly eat insects, but they'll also consume small vertebrates and plant material, and sometimes even each other. And their behavior is all over the map. Some of them are nocturnal, some are diurnal, and some are crepuscular, which means active at twilight. Some of them build nests and simple burrows, and others just hang out in rock crevices and termite mounds. And they can be social or solitary or bonded in monogamous pairs. Spiny mice really just do it all. And looking at them, you might be thinking, that is just a regular mouse. Where is the armor? Well, they got the name spiny mice because many species in the group have stiff hairs in the outer layer of their fur on their backs, similar to the spines of hedgehogs. But their real secret armor is actually hidden in their tails, which researchers only fully described in a paper published in May of 2023. It's made of bony plates called osteoderms that form within the middle layer of the skin, known as the dermis. The dermis is sandwiched between the outer layer of skin, the epidermis, and the deepest inner layer of skin, the hypodermis. The spines, quills, and scales that make up the visible armor of other mammals all come from modifications of the epidermis. But osteoderms are different because they're made of bone, not keratin. And they're kind of a weird type of bone for a mammal to have. Most of the skeleton of mammals and other bony vertebrates, like reptiles and birds, forms when a cartilage template of a bone is slowly replaced by actual bone tissue during development. But there are exceptions to this rule. They're called dermal bones, and they're built within the dermis itself. They're literally bones that grow within that skin layer. Osteoderms form in this less common way, and along with collarbones, they're the only dermal bones found outside the skull in mammals. And spiny mice aren't the only mammals to have osteoderms. Armadillos have them, and some giant ground sloths and one strange ancient hedgehog-like animal from the early Eocene also had them. But they are a very rare evolutionary innovation in mammals. Outside mammals, though, osteoderms are kind of everywhere. They've evolved independently at least 19 times in amniotes, the group that includes all reptiles, mammals, and birds. Lots of different kinds of lizards have them, some dinosaurs had them, and crocodilians and turtles have them. And they're pretty common in amphibians too. Like, there are even frogs that have them. And they seem to have evolved independently a number of times in that group as well. But why are osteoderms so common in reptiles and amphibians, but not in mammals? Well, it might just be that mammals have hair, which basically gives evolution a different pathway for building armor. But then what's going on with spiny mice who have both? Why do they have osteoderms in their tails? Well, it may actually be connected to another weird evolutionary adaptation of theirs: super healing. See, spiny mice have incredibly fragile skin, and this is going to sound kind of gross and painful, but it tears much more easily than the skin of other mice. The good news is they can regrow their tissues, skin, nerves, muscles, even their spinal cord, completely without scarring. And they do it twice as fast as their rodent relatives. And their tearaway skin really comes into play when a predator tries to chomp on the tail of a spiny mouse. Basically, spiny mice can do this thing called degloving their tails, where the outer skin of the tail peels away from the muscle and bone in the grasp of a predator. Apparently, this does not cause much bleeding, which is good, I guess. And this is also going to sound gross and painful, but the mice then chew off their tails, because while they can heal a lot of different kinds of tissue, they don't seem to be able to grow back their entire tail skin. One study even found that in some populations of spiny mice, 63% of males and 44% of females were missing all or part of their tails. And one possible reason degloving seems to work as a defensive strategy is that the osteoderms might provide enough of a barrier to keep a predator's teeth out of the part of the tail that doesn't detach. This would give the mice a chance to escape by trading their tails for their lives. And it looks like this ability, along with their osteoderms, probably evolved only once in the shared ancestor of the whole subfamily of spiny mice, rather than independently in each genus. One of the authors of the study that described the osteoderms thinks this is because the closest living relatives of the spiny mice subfamily, the gerbils, don't have tail osteoderms. And in evolutionary biology, we tend to prefer the evolutionary tree with the fewest steps. The simplest explanation is the most likely one. But explaining these mice with their tearaway tail skin and secret armor reminds us that even simple-looking animals can be more than meets the eye. Need somewhere to put all your new Bizarre Beast pins, like this incredible new spiny mouse? We've got new merch for that. Our pin display banner is available now at bizarrebeastshow.com. Along with our limited edition 2024 calendar. We sold out of calendars last year, so be sure to get yours before they're gone.